So when I was a kid, I had this desire to create crazy and bizarre inventions that nobody would think of at first. Take this cardboard submarine for example. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I used to live in this neighborhood when wherever it rained, there will always be this big puddle of water that's forming in the middle of the road. And it wasn't just any puddle that you can just walk in. No. To me, you could actually swim in that puddle. So when I saw this, I had this idea where I could make a cardboard submarine where it will float on top of the water, and then it will start sucking up the water till it reach the bottom, and then all the water is completely gone and the road is free to drive through. But the only problem I had with this is finding a way to make the cardboard waterproof, because it's cardboard and it could soak up the water and just sink. And on the topic of cardboard, there was also another invention I had in mind that included cardboard as well. A cardboard airplane. Wow. Now my grandma used to travel out a lot and sometimes I won't see her for months. So I had this idea of making a cardboard airplane, and I thought it was a genius idea because technically speaking, cardboard is lighter than metal and wood would ever be. It was also cheaper and easier to fly around to other countries. So whenever I miss my grandma, I'll just hop in my plane and fly to wherever she is. Now, unlike my first invention, this next one was going to be a bit trickier because you can't exactly fit a motor inside a cardboard plane. So I thought of adding pedals to the plane. That way it will be easier to lift it up from the ground and I won't run out of fuel easily. Also, it will be good exercise. Now with this pedal power in mind, there are things to consider like what if I get tired and I want to land, or what if I'm over the ocean? The first part is simple. I'll just open up the wheels, slow down in the pedaling, and then glide down safely to the ground. The second part, however, was a bit tricky. I did think of adding inflatable floaties to the plane, but I was just trying to figure out how exactly am I supposed to put it. Am I supposed to put it in the back or just underneath the plane? And then there was the issue of getting it inflated in the first place. I did find a solution for both of the problems, but if I have to make an emergency landing in the ocean, well... Now, did I actually make an attempt to make these two inventions? Well, not really. But this next one, I actually did try to make an attempt. You know all those kids who always make impressive stuff out of ordinary things like Legos and all that? Well, I tried to be one of them. And the way of doing that was making a plastic bottle car. So around this time, I was now 13 years old and we now moved to an apartment. So one day I was bored and I came up with the idea of making a water bottle toy car, because I used to see a bunch of kids just driving their own on the road all the time. Now I don't want to get into too much detail on this invention, but the way I wanted it to be different from the other kids' cars was that they were manually pulling it with a string and along the road. I wanted it to just have a motor, work on battery, and you can actually use a remote control to make it work. Now I did find a way to make the wheels move on the water bottle, and surprisingly I did find a motor that would work for the battery. The only problem was getting wires to connect the whole thing and actually finding a place to put the batteries in. And overall, just trying to fit all those things into a plastic bottle just for it to make it work. Now I'm sure some of you might be asking, why didn't you ask your parents to help you? Why did you try to do all these inventions by yourself? Well, I want to share this last invention with you. My parents used to go to work very often and sometimes I will be alone in the house, and at the time I was the only kid, so it could get a bit lonely sometimes. So one cloudy but sunny afternoon, I was in my room, just waiting for my parents to be back from work, and then I just decided to try and find something to kill the boredom. So right in front of my room, there's this small place where my parents set up a TV where I could watch personally, while the main TV is in the living room downstairs. Anyway, so I used to sit on this beanbag to watch my shows, and behind the beanbag there was like this smaller room. Well, I couldn't call it an attic because it was too small, but it was a room, like underneath the stairs type of thing. And it was a room that I could fit in. So after discovering this room, I decided to make it my little lab. And in this little lab, I'll make like paper cutout robots. And keep in mind, this is going back to the time when I was 8 years old. So I then thought of like making the robots eat and trying to teach the robots inside the lab, which definitely didn't happen often. I used to do this a lot of times. Even when I'm done with school, I always get excited to just come back and work on my robots. And the fun part about them was making them and inventing them and seeing what I can do to just make them work the way I want them to work. And I guess that's why I started making inventions as a child in the first place. Even though I wanted to solve a problem with these inventions, and even though I wanted to get seen with these inventions, for the most part I was just doing it for the fun of it. I didn't take these inventions so seriously, and I just wanted to see what I could make, what I could invent on my own. But after recording this video, I feared that my zeal for creating inventions as a kid kind of weared off after my bottle car incident, and those are the only 4 things that I created as a kid. But looking back, I realized that I actually created a lot more than these 4 things. Like the time I was 7, I made an indoor skating rink with soap, or the time when I was 12 or 13 when I was trying to make a cure for HIV. Case in point, I did all of this just for fun and just to see how far my imagination can take me. And I'm glad I did, because those times were some of my best childhood memories. Wow, that's nice. Do you have any other childhood memories? Well, funnily enough, I had this weird memory where I fell down 3 flights of stairs as a baby. Wow! So, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed. And also, I want to know, did any of you guys try to at least make an invention of your own, or at least thought of it? If you did, I would like to know down below, because it's nice to know what other people did as kids. And also, that last part of the video, yes, I will make another video addressing it. And until then, stay safe and have a wonderful day.